Hello and welcome. In this short video, I'll show you some features in Worksoft Analyze, specifically process documentation for business users. Creating business process documentation the easy way. Business users and quality professionals often need documentation or processes or how-to documents. In Agile, the need for documentation that a story or task has been completed is often attached and in some cases included into the done criteria in your different tools. In both cases, manually documenting a user's journey through the application screens or multiple applications takes too long and is tedious at best. In this demo, we'll show you how Worksoft can make a process easier with business capture and automated documentation generated from Worksoft Analyze. So here I have an application and I have my business capture. I'll start recording. So what Capture does is it understands the application, the screens, and the data on the screen to actually create narratives for me automatically. So I'll log in, and as you'll notice on the right, it's giving me screenshots and showing me what I've done. And it was smart enough to not actually print my password. I'll go through the process of adding a new user. And you'll notice as I work through the screens, it's going to actually go through and update the narrative on the right. So I can see here, it's actually detected everything I've done, and it's created narratives for me. Now I can keep doing my thing. I can go look at this user. Maybe I change and I disable the user. So I get documentation across the way. So what I've done is I've actually documented my process by just doing my normal job. So maybe I want to add some comments here. So when I'm done, I can add my comment, and now I'll just send this to Analyze. I'll call this new user. And what will happen is it's sent up to Analyze and it's imported for me. So at that point, the business person's kind of done with their job. I'll refresh my screen. I can see the imports come in. So the idea is a business person, or say a quality person, can actually do the normal validation as they would for, say, a manual task. But what happens is we'll give them documentation and actually the starting of their automated test case. I can see it was imported here, see the date and the time. I can also see my documentation is ready. So I'll just go over there and I'll look. I'll download my PDF. So notice I didn't have to do anything special, creating narratives, looking at screenshots. These things were all done for me automatically. You can see here's a BPMN diagram, the add user EM, and then I can see here there's a window and then the actual field I interacted with. The narrative is I input ckraus.worksoft.com into the email address. So you can see as I navigate through each field, it's actually documenting what's happening and what the processes are. So in this case, I'm getting high fidelity documentation as I enter my data. So if you think about this, the narrative was created automatically. I didn't have to do anything. I'm getting all these screenshots. My documentation in this case I created in a PDF file, but you can also generate them in Word if you wanted. So for example, if I come over here to my process again, and I say create documentation, I can also ask for this in Word. So I'll just say create, and then the documents will create in a Word document. That way I can maybe edit it or look at some of the different fields. Looks like someone else is working in the environment also. It's pretty cool that we can collaborate together. So here I can see there's my documentation and the Word document. So ideally, what happens is I say this is, say for Agile, I would want to attach this to my story. If this is for business process documentation, I'd want to give it to my people to put in the library. Now, if this is to say example of my den criteria, all I'd have to do is say attach and come over here and take my document. There's my PDF, and I'll drag and drop it in. And now I have actual documentation of my process to show that the manual test worked and I'm happy with what's happened. I'll say pass the test. So if you're interested in getting high fidelity process documentation, whether it's for supporting your Agile methodologies, maybe it's because you need to document things for training purposes, or maybe you've got Sarbanes-Oxley or GDPR requirements. Business Capture is designed to make that very easy. Any user can start this. They just walk through the application they normally would, and then Analyze will create the documentation for them. And don't worry, we've had customers who've done this with hundreds of steps and created 50, 60 megabyte files. It's all fine, it'll scale perfectly. Thanks and have a great day.